Good morning. Thank you all for coming. I am so happy to see all of you. I can hardly remember who I am. I am Judy Gosh-Kavash, the Executive Director of the Nebraska Commission on Indian Affairs, and I am thrilled to see all of you. Today we gather to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, and I love the t-shirt I'm seeing in the front row. Native Americans discovered Columbus, and I'm going to adapt that to Indigenous people discovered Columbus. I would like to welcome everyone here, and especially the descendants of Dr. Susan LaFlesche Picot. Some have come all the way from South Carolina, Wichita, Kansas, New Mexico, and all of our tribal nations, and everyone that is here today. Today, for the first time ever, we had a President of the United States of America recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. President Biden proclaimed Monday, October 11th as Indigenous Peoples Day. And he said, "For generations, federal policies systemically sought to assimilate and displace Native people and eradicate Native culture." President Biden wrote on Friday, "Today we recognize Indigenous peoples' resilience and strength, as well as the immeasurable positive impact that they have made on every aspect of American society." I couldn't agree with him more. I am so pleased to have worked with Senator Tom Brewer and Senator Patty Pansy Brooks on the bill that was created for Indigenous Peoples Day, AB 848. Also, that bill allowed for flags to be posted in the Warner Chamber, the 4 headquartered tribes, that is the Omaha tribe, the Winnebago tribe, the Santee Sioux, and the Ponca tribe. And today we have those tribal leaders with us, and I'd like to recognize the Ponca chairman, Larry Wright Jr., the Omaha chairman, Everett Baxter Jr., the Winnebago chairwoman, Tori Kitchian, and the Santee Sioux chairman, Roger Trudell, and the vice chair, Sid Tuttle. So with those people, please stand and be recognized. This day has been a long time coming, and it couldn't have happened today without the help of my staff. So I would like to recognize our agency, the Nebraska Indian Commission. I'd like to thank my board of directors for all of their support for our work on this day's celebrations. And we have a staff of 3, including myself, and Scott Schaefer and Alicia Rodriguez are the people behind the scenes that made this day happen for all of us. So thank you so much for your tireless work behind the scenes. I would also like to recognize and thank Winnebago artist Henry Payer for providing the amazing artwork on the t-shirts, program banners that we have today. And we are giving out, and maybe already have, 400 t-shirts that say Indigenous Peoples Day, Nebraska. So that is really pretty exciting. As things go sometimes, you have to adapt with what's happening, and in Indian country, we know that as Indian people, we've been moved around a lot. So the agenda is going to be a little bit fluid and flexible, and we'll get to that a little bit. But most of you, or at least half of you, were over in the state capitol earlier today, where we posted the 4 flags of the headquartered tribes, and we had a beautiful applique Winnebago dance exhibition that was also accompanied by the Omaha drum and the Winnebago drum, and we were just so pleased to see so many of you there. And now that you've joined us here after the reception, we can begin moving on to this next part of Indigenous Peoples Day. So I stand before you as a Native woman very proud and humbled that for all the little girls, the grandmas, the mothers, the aunts, the sisters, that finally we are going to be visible standing on this beautiful mall. And today behind us, we are going to unveil a beautiful sculpture done by Benjamin Victor of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picotte, America's first Native doctor. I have been asked to do something today, as sometimes we all get asked to do things and we say yes. I have been asked by Congressman Fortenberry, who couldn't be with us, to read a letter from Congressman Fortenberry about Dr. Susan. So I'm going to do that on behalf of Congressman Fortenberry. Dear friends, due to my responsibilities in Washington, I regret that I cannot be with you today to honor the extraordinary life of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picotte, civil rights pioneer, social reformer, early public health advocate, and America's first credentialed Native American physician. Her contributions to medicine have made a lasting impact on not only the Native community, but on all of Nebraska. Whether on foot or horseback, Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picotte tirelessly sought to use the healing arts in service to others. Just as her life uplifted the sick and needy, this beautiful sculpture will uplift our hearts and help us contemplate a life well lived for others. Thank you to all involved in making this extraordinary sculpture a remarkable addition to our urban landscape. Sincerely, Jeff Fortenberry, Member of Congress. In closing, it is my hope that today you take from this event a fond memory and a greater understanding of who Indigenous people are, of our history and culture, and dynamic and vibrant presence in today's world. And as I said earlier, the agenda has changed a little bit. We are not going to do the Cedar ceremony right at this time due to the respect of the ceremony. That will be later in the program, where Dr. Rudy Mitchell, respected elder and board member of the Indian Commission, will do that in between the unveiling and before the honor song. So thank you all again for making this a day that I will never forget and that I will tell my daughters and granddaughters and grandchildren about. And I hope everyone takes this spirit of Dr. Susan, of the tribes, all the messages we heard today of our veterans who have served tirelessly for our country, out into the world, and that we can all live in the harmony as Dr. Susan so demonstrated in her service for all people. Weeblaho.
All right, they stressed that I needed to keep it short, so I don't even have a speech, so that's how short this is going to be. There are some things that I really wanted to share with you today. First off, everyone that's here, thank you. For those that this day was intended for, we could not be prouder of the fact that those that are not Native took the time out of their day to come here and to honor those tribes from Nebraska and Dr. Susan. But we have folks here today that need special recognition. I'd be remiss if I didn't start with my colleagues in the legislature who helped make this day possible. And we've got Mark Coulterman back here. Senator Mark Coulterman, raise your hand. There he is. I got Megan Hunt and Senator McKinney. They have always been there when we needed help, and I appreciate that they are here today to honor Natives. And here in a few minutes, you'll have a chance to hear from Senator Patty Penzing-Brooks, who, Patty, she has been the real driver of so many positive things that's happened for the Native community. But also today, I think we need to recognize a few other folks. In a little bit, we'll hear from the mayor. And if you could have seen this mall just a few years ago and how it looks now, and the story that the mall tells, it's impressive. It makes you proud of Lincoln, makes you proud to be a Nebraskan. So, Mayor, thank you for being here today, and thank you for what you've done. Chancellor Green is here today, and for a lot of reasons, the university has been invaluable to Native peoples, but recently, and hopefully he shares some of that today, the university has made a decision to provide scholarships to Native American youth. They've kind of stepped up above and beyond the call to do that, and he's been the key part of that. So, Chancellor, thank you, and thank you for what you've done. Now, the last words that I think we need to recognize is if you're truly Native and you've spent any time on a reservation, you understand that the heart and soul, what holds a reservation together and the families together, are the mothers and the grandmothers. Unfortunately, because of the influence of alcoholism, and I saw it, and I have been so happy to see the changes in White Clay, but how it affected the Pine Ridge Reservation and the peoples was disturbing, to say the least. And so many times the families were destroyed and the fabric of that community torn apart. And what held it together through the worst of times were the mothers and the grandmothers. They raised the children. They made the house able to function. And so as we recognize Dr. Susan today, remember that we need to recognize all Native women for what they have done to hold the families together through hard times. They make a difference, and that's why we're able to have the success we have, and why we have young men and women that are becoming more and more successful and being given opportunities for success. So with that, I am very honored to introduce our next speaker. She is a very good friend. She has watched my six, and she has been there for every cause that we have had in the legislature to help Native Americans. She was in Washington, D.C. to unveil the statue of Standing Bear, and I could not be prouder to introduce my friend, Senator Patty Penzing-Brooks.
What a day! Isn't this fabulous, everybody? Woo! So exciting. I'm really excited. So first off, he didn't write any remarks. I did. Sorry about that. You're going to have to sit through some of that. But I want to thank Senator Brewer. He has been amazing. I told some of these remarks you'll hear again if you were at the first ceremony this morning. But I was approached my first year in the legislature by a fabulous group of advocates, many of them here. You know who you are, and I love you. And also Native Americans who came and talked to me about working on White Clay. And what happened was we were sitting in a circle, and I just felt a spirit and a movement through me. I knew that the circle was sacred in Native American culture. So it's really helped me move forward on this path of supporting and helping Native Americans to tell their own stories. So, but Senator Brewer then came in, and that's what I really needed, because, you know, he was amazing, and it's hard to say no to the Colonel, that's for darn sure. So I feel so fortunate to work with him on so many issues, and to count you among my dear friends. Also today, for those of you that weren't here, 4 official flags from the headquarters, the 4 tribes that are headquartered here in Nebraska, have been placed in the Warner Chamber. Please go see it. Some people didn't realize that it's just filled with Native American tiles and symbols of Native American culture and history. And then also on the 14th floor of the Capitol, 27 flags will be placed, and those are all of the tribes that have had at least some contact with what we now know as the state of Nebraska. I want to thank you for all for joining us on this first official Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. And I want to thank Judy at the Nebraska Indian Commission and also the tribes for creating the array of ceremonies that we have today. And Judy and her staff have been amazing. We couldn't have done it without her. Tom, she's been so helpful to Tom and me and moving forward on all of these activities, the bills, trying to get people to testify. It's been wonderful. So, as I mentioned, that today is an opportunity to reflect on the long history of the Native civilization in our country and in our state, spanning thousands of years prior to colonization. Today, the first peoples who have survived and persevered amidst countless horrors of separation, oppression, annihilation, and indifference have their own stories to tell. Stories of children taken and lost in the assimilation schools across Nebraska and across this country. Stories of the countless number of people who continue to suffer and die today, including the missing and murdered Indigenous women, for whom we must all stand and fight. And thus, the importance of celebrating the survival and contemporary experience of Native peoples, reflecting on the continued struggles and suffering, has never been more evident. We must listen with passionate, remorseful hearts, with hands ready to reach across the brutal historic divides. We must learn from those whose relatives first walked this land thousands of years before the Europeans arrived. Europeans who had the audacity, my forebears, to claim proprietorship and kill for that which had never been owned, but always honored and revered: the land and all of its glorious creatures. And so the importance of celebrating the survival and contemporary experience of the Native people today is so important. And I hope you recognize that I feel this has come full circle, because I was able to co-chair the Centennial Mall campaign in 2009, which renovated the 9 blocks from the Capitol to the university. These blocks are unique because they are the only 7 blocks in the state that are controlled by the state, the city, and the county. So during that time when we were working on it, Susan Rodenberg is here. She was the director of the campaign. Her beautiful, darling father was my co-chair, as was, oh my gosh, my mind just slipped. Oh my gosh. At the Malone Center, I'm just totally spaced. What? Oh God. TJ McDowell. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I did not do that well. Anyway, fabulous TJ McDowell. I'm very sorry. I hope he's not here, but I'm sure you'll all tell on me, which is rotten. Don't tell on me. So anyway, we all co-chaired this event, the entire mall, and we made sure that the Native cultures and stories were celebrated. So you won't recognize, but you're sitting on, some of you, the Trail of Tears, which was the trail that the Ponca tribe and Standing Bear walked down and then brought his son back. Those are symbolized on the ground by bear claws on the ground. Also, you won't recognize that the county seats are also there. Also down farther on the malls, the Standing Bear statue, and some of you are sitting on the benches that have the names in both the native tongue and in English of the 4 tribes that are headquartered here in the state. So there are many, and there are tribute tiles celebrating each of the tribes around this mall, and you can take your phone, and there are old school QR codes that go right to the tribal headquarters, and you can learn information about the tribe there. So we really think it's important that all of this happened, and that we would be able to celebrate the Native people and the stories that we have. Sorry, the wind blew. The stories that the Native people teach to us every day. I just want you to know that what is underneath you is a powerful reminder that we all walk on soils that we did not sow. So it is really fitting that our first official celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day include a sculpture of the unveiling of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picot, our first Native American doctor, male or female. Through her tireless efforts, she worked to heal what was broken. We can all take inspiration from her to do our part in fixing the hurt and broken lives of all people around us. The wounds of oppression that continue to this day need our healing touch. And Indigenous Peoples Day is an opportunity for this kind of healing and touch. So with that, I would like to welcome next, we have a lot going on here today. Okay, so today we are excited. At this time, I want to introduce our next speaker and my dear and darling friend, Lincoln Mayor Larry Gaylor Baird, Mayor Gaylor Baird has been at the forefront in local recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day in Lincoln. Lincoln has recognized this day for several years. I want to thank the mayor for all the ways in which she has worked for an inclusive community. Mayor Gaylor Baird's mission statement reveals that the city government at its best helps people coexist and reach full human potential. Our mayor understands and works so that Lincoln's many voices and cultures help Lincoln thrive and soar. Mayor Gaylor Baird.
Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction, Senator Pansing-Brooks. Thank you, Senator Brewer, and thank you, Judy, for helping to make this day such a thriving success. And I do want to acknowledge that some of my colleagues from the city and who were on the city council back in 2016 when we first recognized through a local resolution Indigenous Peoples Day in the city of Lincoln are here. Councilman Benny Shobe is here. If you could wave, thank you. I know Councilwoman Sandra Washington is here, and if any other members of the city council are here, please stand and wave. We want to honor you as well for all of your contributions to this moment. Well, welcome everyone to Centennial Mall, one of the most iconic locations in our capital city. Thanks so much to the work of the co-chairs of that campaign that renovated and updated this beautiful and I would say now sacred space. I cannot imagine a more perfect way to celebrate our state's first Indigenous Peoples Day. As we unveil the beautiful new sculpture of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picot, we honor not just her accomplishments, but also those of all the people who called this land home long before it became known as the city of Lincoln and the state of Nebraska. And we honor the many contributions Native Americans and other Indigenous people continue to make today. Becoming the first female Native American doctor is just one facet of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picot's incredible story and legacy. In addition to her remarkable path to becoming a physician, in 1913 she realized her vision and a lifelong dream by opening the first entirely privately funded hospital on an American Indian reservation. She also advocated for public health. What an amazing thing that we're unveiling a sculpture of her as we all go through this public global pandemic together. What an amazing time to be honoring a leader in public health. She also started a library for children, and she lobbied the legislature on policies that impacted her tribe and all Native Americans. Her inspiring story is one of tremendous sacrifice, fierce determination, and a selfless commitment to serve others. It's a story that deserves more attention, and now it will, thanks to the compelling book by Joe Sheridan. Joe, can you wave? I see you back there. The generosity of Larry Small. Are you here, Larry? Can you wave? There he is, thank you. The incredible talent of Ben Victor. The hard work of Judy Gashkabas, also our inspiring woman in local government service this year. Thank you, Judy. The Nebraska Commission on Indian Affairs, and many others. More people will come to learn of Dr. LaFleche-Picot's keen mind and kind heart, thanks to their efforts. And more people will be inspired by her hard work, her bravery, and her spirit, a spirit captured in the thoughtfully crafted sculpture her descendants will soon unveil for us. The people of Lincoln are extremely proud to be the home of this monumental work and of another Ben Victor masterpiece, the sculpture of Standing Bear on the north end of this mall. We are also home to the future Standing Bear High School, the first high school in our Lincoln community to be named for an individual. Our hope is that these works of art and the new school will create more visibility, recognition, and appreciation of all Native peoples, past and present. And they also call on us to work in partnership with our Indigenous communities, continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit together. Along with those I've mentioned this morning, I want to thank the Winnebago and Omaha tribes for participating in today's events, and to the members of all the tribes who are present here today. Congratulations to all those whose efforts have led to this historic moment. And thank you all for being here to celebrate our state's first Indigenous Peoples Day by witnessing this dedication and this incredible event for our city and state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And you did a very nice job of describing what today is all about. We have a number of tribal leaders here, but because of time, we have one who's going to come up and speak now. I'd like to introduce the Omaha Tribal Chairman, Everett Baxter Jr. Everett?
Oh, hey, they Wangi, all my relatives. You know, I appreciate what's going on today, that it is the state's first official Indigenous Day. However, let's make some noise because every day for us is Indigenous Peoples Day. Let the city of Lincoln hear you on that one. As we go forward here, I want to share a quick story of when the Standing Bear sculpture was revealed in Washington, D.C., I made the trip, and I got to be a part of that historical day. And during that time, I was thinking, you know, when are we, as the Omaha people, going to get something as beautiful as this? But today, that day has come. And I'm very most honored to be here today and to give our thanks to everybody that spoke today, all the good words that were said, you know, with good intentions. I want to thank our donor, Larry Small, for having in his heart to put up the money to help see this through into the sculpture. Benjamin Victors, he does a great work, and his work will show in Washington, D.C. with the Standing Bear, and I'm very honored, you know, to be a part of the unveiling today. Even today, we have come a long way as tribal people. Our road hasn't always been easy. It seems we have to push just as hard to move forward. But that's what our name means. To be Omaha is to go against the current. And today is our day. Today we share thoughts, good feelings. We thank Wakanda for a beautiful day today. We couldn't ask for a better day. And at this time, I want to thank, you know, the descendants and the family. You know, they're seated here, and I've seen them. You know, they're proud in the accomplishments of what their ancestor has done for our people, being the first Native American woman doctor. Not every tribe can say that. And for years, it hasn't been said. But today, we honor that in Dr. Susan LaFleche and her sacrifices that she made, Her story is truly one of a kind. During a time that we as Native people, as Omaha people, weren't citizens of the United States of America, we had to endure so much hardships during those times. And we're very fortunate in our day to not be relocated. And today we still reside in one of our traditional homelands. So sharing that history with you all, to tell the story that she persevered, being a woman, a wa'u, to go through and see a need when she noticed that the tribal people weren't getting the care that they needed. She took that on herself and got herself educated, went to medical school, and brought what she learned back to treat our people. So today we honor this day, we honor the sacrifices that she's done, and for we are all here today. And at this time, I want to send a special recognition to our vice chairwoman, wherever she's at in the audience. She is a descendant of Dr. Susan LaFleche, and she is the youngest female vice chairman of our Omaha Tribal Council. She's in the back here. Give her a round of applause. Even in her passing, Dr. Susan LaFleche continues to inspire. Our young women, her relatives, her descendants continue to work in the medical field and to provide those healthcare services, not only to our people, but to other people in their field. So I wanted to say about that much. I want to thank everybody that showed up here today. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy this day because today is the first. And I'm very glad to be a part of it, and I hope and I wish you all a very good day. With that, I say, aho, ewe de wanga de gategaho. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. What an exciting day, and we're so pleased that you're here. Our next speaker, I want to welcome and thank Susan Picott, who is the great-granddaughter of Dr. Susan LaFleche Picott. And I also want to welcome the other members of the Picott and LaFleche families. They're in the first two rows sitting here today. They will all be coming up in a few minutes to unveil the sculpture. So we're very excited. But I want you to know that Susan went into the medical field following in her great-grandmother's footsteps with a degree in nursing. She was an advanced practice nurse with an emphasis in gerontology and education. She has just recently retired. Susan currently lives in Wichita, and we are so happy to have you here today and your entire family. Thank you very much. Come up, Susan. Susan Picott.
I bring greetings from my family on this beautiful day. What an honor to be here celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day and the unveiling of the statue of my great-grandmother, Dr. Susan LaFleche Picott. In French, LaFleche means the arrow. Susan's arrow of destiny was pointed toward great things for herself and the Omaha tribe. She believed that education was exciting and a top priority in a changing world. She used her education to further her commitment to helping her community. I'm sure Dr. Susan would be humbled and honored with her statue being placed on Centennial Mall. Her family is delighted as well. I would like to thank the Nebraska Commission on Indian Affairs and all the others who have planned and worked so diligently to make this day a success. And I now invite the descendants of Dr. Susan LaFleche Picott to come forward for the unveiling.
At this time, we will have the Cedar blessing by Dr. Rudy Mitchell. And I would also like to say, then following, we'll have the honor song by two descendants. Remain standing, please.
Oh, Wangida, Uda the Yati, Wishti Uda Tiho, Omaha Ijaja Wivita Sihiduba, Waga Ijaja Wivita Dr. Rudy Mitchell, in Kesabe Edem Obdeho, Omaha Edem Obdeho. I want to welcome all of you here today to this great ceremony, recognition today of Dr. Susan Pecan. I just want to echo all the thank you and the recognition to all the people that made this possible today. But I just want to briefly share, Dr. Peacock's legacy is still continuing on today. I have a sister that lives in Albuquerque. 3 of her daughters are medical doctors. They're practicing in the Southwest. And 2 of my nieces, one has a daughter that just started practice, and another great niece of mine is in 3rd-year medical school. So her legacy still continues on today, and I want to thank all of you again for making it possible for this great recognition today. I'm going to do a Cedar ceremony, offer a word of prayer, and please bear along with me. Okay, I'm going to offer a word of prayer at this time. I'd like for you to bow your heads and pray along with me. Daddy ho wakanda, jene ho Jesus, wangane mati daddy ho, Omaha mati, sham ukitam ati also. Father, as we come today to offer a word of prayer to bless the statue of our late relative, Dr. Susan LaFleche Pecan, we ask that you would, that her spirit still continues on with the Omaha people and with the other people as well. Father, bless each and every one of us that are here today. Bless our families, our extended families, our relatives and friends. Bless all the tribes that are represented here today. And Father, I pray for world peace today that may prevail throughout the whole world. And Father, every morning when I pray, I always pray that somehow, Father, you can eradicate the virus that's affecting the whole world. It has taken so many lives throughout the world, Father, and many people are still sick and suffering from the virus. We ask that you would help us in this way. Again, Father, thank you for letting us come together today to offer a word of prayer and for us to have a good fellowship with one another. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. At this time, I'm going to bless the whole audience here. If you want to put your hands out, straight out, I'm going to bless you. God is going to bless each and every one of you that are here. Okay, this concludes the Cedar ceremony.
You know, as you go through life, you have moments that you'd like to kind of freeze in time. If you're native, this would be one of those. And if you're not, treasure the fact that you've had a chance to see the dance, hear the songs, and be a part of a ceremony that unless you go to a powwow, you'll never be a part of. So, again, please treasure what you're seeing today because it is rare. Well, with that said, we're now going to have the honor song. We can come up.
Ebebelite Wiblatamik, Zazi Wibitate, Pierre Lafleche Merrick, Omaha Izazi Wibitate, Sigochaka, Idaha Izazi Wibitate, Abby Lafleche Merrick, Idaro Izazi Wibitate, Fred Merrick Sr., Idinge, Shagin Namba, Iko Izazi Wibitate, Jenny Woodhaw, Idinge. Iko izazi wiwita amake that's Francis. No, grandma.
Henry Turner, and
No,
Jenny.
mom's dad.
Huh?
Jenny Woodhaw. Yeah, get me mixed up. But today, this is my family, all of us. I introduced us in a proper way for our Omaha language, our Omaha Paka, Ka, Kwapa, our language all together. And we're still here. We're still here. At this time of day, you know, we come together and we meet new relatives. Like Susan. I didn't know her, but the blood, the Lafleche blood, is strong within our Omaha people yet. Go ahead, brother.
My name is Nate Merrick, and thank you all for coming here today to celebrate this wonderful occasion. And I want to say thank you to our President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, for declaring Indigenous Day for us. Appreciate him very much. I want to say thank you to the Indian Commission. I know all these things have been said already, but they need to be repeated again on our behalf of my descendants that are standing here with us. I want to say today, you know, that we still live on. And I was honored today that my Omaha tribe, historical day has come along to see the tribes together gather here at the governor's, at the state capitol. The Ho-Chunks, the Santee Sioux, the Northern Ponkas, and the Omahas, they all come together here. Very special day today to celebrate this occasion. A very beautiful, beautiful memorial statue to our grandmother, Dr. Susan Lafleche Peacock. Today, she still lives on. The old hospital that she built in Wald Hill, Nebraska, when she finished her education, she came back there to serve the people. She was a servant of the people. That old hospital became deteriorated over the years, and thanks to a board of directors in Wald Hill, to Keith Mckinney and a small group of board of directors, they kept it alive and striving to have it restored. And today, our board of directors in Wald Hill, Nebraska, you know, we've all come together, and the board of directors, a lot of them are here. I'd like to recognize Mr. Gary Bowen, who is a board member. I'd like to recognize Dr. Brett Thallinger, my Aunt Vida Stabler, and my niece Gwen Porter, who is on our tribal council. I'd like to recognize my brothers, Pierre and Vincent and Charlie, myself, who are on the board of directors for that board, and also an advisory board here in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's many of them, and I appreciate them, and all the donors who are helping to restore that hospital so that it can be put back in use in her memory. She can still do some things for our people. Today, we are honored here to be here, and we are going to sing an honor song. And this song was made way back in the 30s. There was a sort of a small division of our people, and they called a lot of the flesh people and the Farleys and them, they call them half-breeds. And this song that we're going to be singing is a half-breed song for them that was made many, many years ago. And also a song of appreciation and thank you. We're going to sing those songs, and I believe one of my nephews is going to sing another song. But I want to do that right now. Thank you. Thank you all for your kind attention. Aho, weeble ha, ho. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to sing an appreciation song. The song says thank you to all of you, to everyone, and to praise and thank Almighty God too. Aho!
Hey, Good afternoon to each and every one of you, or is it still morning? Well, it's afternoon now. I just want to say thank you to you and to all the committee and for those that put things together here today. My name is Mitchell Sheridan. I come from the Latada people, the Omaha people. Omaha Ijaji Great Ojinga, Little Hawk, my Omaha name. But I was born and raised right here in Lincoln. I played basketball at the Lincoln High Link in that Persian Auditorium right there. So once a link, always a link. But today, I'm real proud of what's taking care of my relatives here. These are my own relatives on my mom's side and both my dad's side, and to Dr. Susan. But I was telling my brother-in-law and a few of the others that this week I put tobacco out, and I had asked the Creator for something special. And I was brought up this way by my father, who has been at the drum and the singer. And today I'm here with my boys and some of my grandsons here. But we're going to take care of some singing here in a little bit. But as far as I can remember, nothing was ever done for Dr. Susan as far as the song goes. Maybe there was, but I don't know. But the other day, I put tobacco out and made a prayer to the Creator. And the Creator blessed me with the song for her. And when I get done and go over here, I'm going to sing that song with my boys and my grandsons. And from this day on, that song, even though she's not here with us physically, that song is hers. And it'll go from this day on, we'll go forward. My boys will carry that song long after I'm gone, and the family has the right to that song, and they can use it anytime they want to. So I want to make that known to each and every one of you, and have an enjoyable day. Everything's been going good so far. I want to thank Judy and all her people for making things possible. Thank the tribal councils for being here, all the tribal members from different reservations. You know, it's all good that we're here to celebrate something good amongst our people. So today is a beautiful day. It's a wonderful day. It's an honoring day for our relative. And today, I just wanted to say about that much. And I'm going to go over and sing with my boys. And those of you, the relatives, anybody wants to come and dance, you can come and dance to her song when we sing at the drum, go around the drum. Because our Omaha people always say, you go around that drum, you go clockwise. You never go backwards. Omahas were always going forward. Even to the state of Nebraska comes from an Omaha word, Nebraska. Even Omaha comes from the Omaha. And even in the city of Lincoln, we call it Niskile because of the Swap Creek. So today, I'm real thankful to be here and be a part of the program. And like I always say, when I come back to Lincoln, it's hard for me to go home because I was born and raised here. I used to run around that building when I was 8 and 9 years old. Just lived 3 blocks down the road. So I want to say thank you, too, and I kind of want to make that known to each and every one of you. And once again, God bless each and every one of you for being here today and showing your respect and honor to not only Dr. Susan, but the family. Aho, Omaha nikshu, wiganaha, gatega ho.
Wow, truly beautiful, hasn't it been? Just amazing. The lessons we can learn. So our next speaker is another friend and an amazing man who is the Chancellor of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Nebraska's flagship, the land-grant university, and the Big Ten institution, where he oversees over 25,000 students, 6,000 faculty and staff. Chancellor Green received a bachelor's and master's degree in animal science from Virginia Tech and Colorado State University, respectively. His doctoral program was completed jointly at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and the USDA-ARS U.S. Meat Animal Research Center in animal breeding and genetics. Whew, that's a mouthful. And boy, those Huskers are coming on, aren't they? So let's welcome Chancellor Green. Woo!
Well, good afternoon. I can't tell you how humbled I am to be here today. And with the great level of respect for what we're honoring today, for the first Indigenous Peoples Day celebration here in our state, for the honoring of Dr. Susan with this beautiful statue that you've now seen unveiled by Ben Victor, and from Larry's generosity to bring it here to tell the story of Dr. Susan. A big round of applause, please, for that beauty of that statue. As Patty said, I have the pleasure of serving as the Chancellor of our state's flagship land-grant university, and I want to start by explaining what that word land-grant means. When universities were established as public institutions in each state in the 1860s, the Land Grant Act was passed in 1862 that allowed the infrastructure to set up public universities in each state of the United States. What the words land grant meant was that land was deeded to the state to allow benefits from that land to allow the establishment of universities for access to education for the public masses. In Nebraska, that meant that 3 congressmen at the time, in 1867, after Nebraska was a state, were allotted 30,000 acres of land each for a total of 90,000 acres of land that became the basis for the formation of this institution that you now see sitting at the end of this mall and across our state. Those are lands, obviously, that were from Native Americans. So in honoring today, Indigenous Peoples Day, I want to start by acknowledging the fact that this institution stands on land and with land that has allowed us to be a public institution of higher education now for 152 years. I want to speak just briefly to the legacy of Dr. Susan. Now, you've heard a lot about Dr. Susan. You've read a lot about her amazing journey, her amazing life of going in the late 1800s to medical school in Pennsylvania, becoming the first Native doctor, as has been said several times this morning. That took a lot of grit and determination, resilience, if you will, to make that happen. And it shows the transformative power of higher education and what education can do. Tom Brewer mentioned earlier this morning at the beginning of the ceremony that we are talking about today at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln how to increase the access to education for all, including our Native American students that I will tell you, have far fewer at our university than we should have at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Everett Baxter, chairperson of the Omaha tribe, who you saw earlier, is a graduate. You saw that N on his lapel. Thank you, Everett, for the advertisement, by the way. But we only have today at UNL 53 students who are Native American. That is far too few. And we need to find a way to increase access to the power of that education as we move forward. Yesterday, I had the benefit of sitting in a room for 4 hours, meeting with our first meeting of the UNL new Native American and Indigenous Advisory Board, being led by the 4 tribal chairpersons who are here today. And we had a very robust conversation about how to take down the barriers, take down the obstacles that prevent or hinder access to that education moving forward. And you're going to be hearing exciting things about how we're going to do that at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in years to come to welcome as many Native American students at all levels, undergraduate, graduate, and professional degrees as we can in the future. Wonderful day here. I am so honored to be here, to be able to be part of it and to learn with you. A wonderful day to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day in Nebraska. Thank you, Patty and Tom and your colleagues for the legislation that has enabled that to happen. And we honor the Picot family today and this wonderful story that now will be told for years to come of your great-grandmother. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hang in there. We're almost done. But there's a couple of folks that really need special recognition because what you see behind me wouldn't have happened without them. First off, if you have not had a chance to see the work of Ben Victor, besides this, his work is also Standing Bear. Ben, raise your hand. He is amazing. When he was doing Standing Bear, he had the clay model of it here and had a chance to see the detail that he went to. And I always loved Standing Bear because of the bear claw necklace. I would love to have one of those to wear on the legislature just to freak people out. But the other person who made this possible is Larry Small. Larry's been a long-time community advocate and has a long history of giving to the community. Now, Larry, I've got a long speech here that I'm supposed to give for you, but let me just share a thought with you. I've had a number of opportunities to think about life beyond this earth, and I think when the time comes that we leave this earth, you can have all the money in the world, and it really isn't going to matter. I remember laying in the hospital after being shot 6 times thinking, well, what's going to happen, you know, as far as family and friends and how I leave this world? And, of course, it wasn't but a few years later I ended up having a hand grenade go off by me and you get to think all that over again. But I guess what went through my mind is if I could just do something to make the world a little better place so that when I left it, it was special and you leave a legacy. And, Larry, I think this statue and this way of remembering the family and what Dr. LaFleur has done for Native peoples is a great way to do that. So for your generosity, thank you, and we'll give you a chance to share with us.
You know, I've been watching the sun as it's slowly creeping up the sidewalk here, and I'm figuring, Ben, I may talk a little longer, but what I'm planning on is that by the time Ben gets up here, the sun will hit the statue and it will be radiant. So bear with me, I'm watching it. And if it gets close, some of you can go, you know, let's pick it up a little. You know, it was about a year ago that I was sitting in a room with Ben and Judy and Scott with the Nebraska Indian Commission, and we were actually talking a little bit about the Standing Bear statue, and it had not yet been placed in Statuary Hall, but we have a maquette of it in our office, and we're discussing that. And I suppose it was Judy, swung the conversation around to Dr. Susan. And thanks to Joe Starita, because it was because of Joe Starita that first I'd read all about our chief Standing Bear, but then I read Warrior of the People, the story of Susan LaFleur. I read it a couple times. I was quite moved by this young woman, young girl, if you will, out in the plains of Nebraska, very concerned about others that were in her tribe and not just her family, and the care for them, and her inability to maybe really give them the kind of medical care they needed. And so this young girl worked, and with the friends of many, began the journey to get her education back east. And thanks to some very willing benefactors back east, they made that happen. And she struggled, and she graduated valedictorian of that medical class. And remember, they didn't even want women in the classrooms because, you know, that was just not something the woman should see. And she overcame all of that. And she left her family and lived in this country she knew nothing about, learned the education, and came back. She could have stayed back east and probably made a pretty good living, but she didn't do that. She came back here to minister to her own people, and not just the Native Americans, but also any of the whites, any of the other folks that were in this area. She ministered to all of them. And she didn't just do medical, she also helped with religion, and she helped with education. She was in it all the way for everyone. And that hospital that is being renovated right now in Walt Hill, the building itself now is secure. And now it's all the programs that we need funding to help get started, because we want to make that another actual living memorial, one that people will participate in and help the city of Walt Hill grow. My involvement in all of this was when Judy said, my dream is to have a statue of Susan LaFlèche. But to start that, we need to raise funds. And getting benefactors and everybody with their own particular ideas of things, that can be quite a challenge. And I looked at Judy and I said, okay, I will be your benefactor. Then we'll have only one person that you have to think about. And I'll try to keep my mouth shut. And as any of you know me, that would be pretty much impossible. But that's how it started. And what's amazing to me, one other thing, Ben Victor was in the room, and I pointed to Ben and I said, and that will be the sculptor. Ben will be the sculptor of Susan LaFlèche. What's amazing to me is in just less than a year, we're sitting here. She's amongst us. Let's see, we're getting close. I'm going to have to talk a little longer. Here she is. And I had an opportunity to be in Lander, Wyoming here a week ago in the foundry and watched her literally come alive. She didn't look quite like she does today. And all the work, you cannot believe the amount of hand work, hand polishing that goes into a creation like this. But what a thrill. And here we are today. And now you're going to hear from the man who made it all possible. So, and somebody else is probably, yes. And so I will sit down, thank you.
Gosh, now the pressure's on. Talk fast. Well, thank you, Larry. What an amazing gift you've given to the city and the state and to the tribes and to all of us. It's truly a remarkable blessing, and you were right. The sun's coming, isn't it? So I just wanted to quickly read a quote that Larry said about this statue. He said, when public art is done right by an artist such as Ben Victor, the historic figure interacts with the viewer and an emotional connection is created by bringing a synergy to the viewer. And wow, you feel it. We all feel the power and determination of Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picot, thanks to Ben's brilliance and Larry's generosity. And so now I have one other thing, and don't you feel the energy? Wow, you feel it. Those are words from Larry Small. So I wanted to also just quickly read to you from a biography about Ben Victor by Ruth E. Mckinney, has a Master in Fine Arts. So this is a quote from that book. A gift from God is how Benjamin Victor describes his ability to create spectacular works of art. Ben joined the ranks of Michelangelo, Bernini, and French by receiving his first large commission at only 23 years of age. At age 26, he became the youngest artist ever to have a sculpture in our nation's foremost collection, the National Statuary Hall in the United States Capitol. In 2019, he became the only living artist to have 3 works in Statuary Hall. Art critics and organizations, including the National Sculpture Society in New York City, continue to recognize the aesthetic and conceptual integrity of Ben's work. His passion and drive clearly show in each of his unique and profound creations. With expressive features, exquisite detail, and thought-provoking content, the work of Benjamin Victor is sure to take its place among the great masterpieces of art history. So I am blessed and fortunate to introduce to you a kind, very humble, loving, compassionate, brilliant artist and man, and one whom we would all call a friend, Ben Victor.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here and to be able to be a part of this dedication. I just want to open by saying that I apologize, like my native friends here, for speaking today, because that's really moved me over the years as I've been around Larry Wright and now Everett Baxter and other leaders in the Native community, that there's always an apology first and a humility as a younger person to speak before descendants and before elders. And so I would like to hold on to that tradition as I'm up here today, that it's such an honor to speak before all of you, descendants, relatives first. Thank you. And thank you for entrusting me to do the sculpture of Dr. Susan. You know, I probably feel a lot like Joe Starita when he wrote the book. You study her life and you're thinking about all of the things she stood for, all the wonderful things she did, and then you get to use your art to express in your media who she was. And Joe said to me, probably in more colorful language than I'll share today, that don't screw it up, basically. And that's how I felt from the moment I picked up the clay to sculpt Dr. Susan, like I was holding and bearing a torch that was handed to me by her descendants and her relatives. And that trust has always meant so much to me. You know, through this process and studying her life and her times, she worked so hard, just tirelessly, for her people and really for everybody around her. She was respected by everybody who knew her. And when she worked so hard, actually, that her own health suffered and she didn't live a long life. But it's encouraging today to know that if you live your life like that and you really put forth something special and put everything into it to change your world and to do something important like Dr. Susan did, that even if your life is cut short, that all of these years later, she's still making a difference. We've got her sculpture here now on the mall, on Centennial Mall, so that the little girls that walk up here, all the Native children that walk up here, can have somebody to look up to who educated herself for the betterment of her people. She put her people first. She did everything she could to change her world. And so it's really an honor today. I have a lot of thoughts, and I've written a lot of them down here in this program, so you can read them, but I'm going to keep it very short because I know it's been a long day for everyone, and we want to enjoy all the other festivities. But I just want to say thank you. That's the bottom line. Look at the piece, enjoy it, think of everything Dr. Susan stood for, and thank you for entrusting me to be the sculptor to get to do this project. Thank you.
Well, you know, I told you that sometimes you just want to kind of freeze frame time. You know, the light coming on the statue right as Ben was speaking, that's kind of a cool time to freeze frame right there. We've come to the end of our ceremony here today. We are going to have the Tribal Powwow exhibition, which will be the Big Red Sheridan Family Drum and the White Eagle Club. They'll be taken off as soon as we finish up here. Please remember that we're going to have a meal at the Scottish Rite, provided by the University of Nebraska. Thank you. And with that, I want to thank everyone for your patience and for being willing to come out and share this day with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, there it's okay.
Test, test. Oh, relatives. Everyday, hungry home. Oh, relatives, my uncle, he made some instructions at this time. Like he said, he composed a song for Dr. Susan LaFleche. At this time, I'd like to welcome those of you to come out and dance this honor song, this first song. I'd like to welcome you to come out and participate in this honor song for Dr. Susan LaFleche. relatives, the descendants of Dr. Susan. You're being invited out to the arena. The descendants of Dr. Susan to come out. And, this is an honor song that was made on her behalf. It's very special. It's gonna last for as long as we can make it last. In her memory, a very special song. We'd like you to come out and join us, the descendants over here.
Would like to clear the arena, please, this time. Again, we got White Eagle Club. That's part of the festivity here. At this time, we're going to have a Canoe starting song, along with the 4 tail dance songs, 1 push-up each. And that's it on that part. Everybody to rise at this time. Our Canoe starting song, our flag song. Someone can notice our dancers here. I think White Eagle Club coming down for participating. Traditional dancers, we got fancy dancers, grass dancers. Brother Justin for bringing the troop down. Our drum group, Brother Vince, he's helping us. It's our first tail dance song. Second tail dance song. Third song. Fourth song. Okay, I believe that's the fourth song. Call Brother Dustin up at this time. Give him a hand. Give your kind attention to my brother Dustin Lovejoy at this time. You love.
I'm excited.
Aho, Emila Wangi Latite Uda. Kuka Wangile, Uncle Mitch out. Say, we blaha ho to you for answering the call and coming to be a part of this historic day. Today I want to welcome you, the White Eagle Club of the Omaha Nation Public School. These are students that are located in Macy, Nebraska. They all attend the Omaha Nation Public School. They range from elementary to middle school to high school, even to lower elementary. Let's give them a round of applause, please. They represent our community of Macy, the Omaha Nation Public School, and the Omaha Tribe. The White Eagle Club was established back in 1970 by a group of paraprofessionals at the time. And today, we're still here. We're still here alive. And we're happy to be here. During my time, when I was in junior high school, my Uncle Mitch was the sponsor of the White Eagle Club at that time. Today, myself, my name is Dustin Lovejoy. In case of a n'oubli, my wife, Donnell Lovejoy, we are the sponsors for the White Eagle Club. So today, give us a few moments of your time. We have an agenda here, a short agenda, but yet gives the opportunity for the kids to do what they do and do what they love. So with that, I want to thank the sponsors for this event and all those who had a helping hand in it. The White Eagle Club appreciates you for inviting us. As we are Omaha people, Omaha Niyashinga. I want to say thank you to my brother Mark White Eyes. He and his wife Liz are the Pahe culture sponsors at the Walt Hill Public School, located in Walt Hill, Nebraska, on the Omaha Nation Reservation. Today I want to say thank you to my brother Mark for stepping in on very short notice and being our MC here. So with that, relative, God bless each and every one of you on this beautiful day. Ombate wiblaho, aho, natego ho.
Okay, at this time, we're going to start in with our agenda here. Bringing a ladies traditional dancers, traditional category. All the ladies coming up, lady traditional category here. Have a song for you at this time, an exhibition song. Purple dress here is Wate, is Maisie Hayes. Kiana Reynolds is in a black one here with the orange in her dress. Wate. I'd like to thank their helpers over here on the north side over here. Give them a hand. As you notice, it was a real graceful dance. Okay, we're going to move down to our original Ilushka men's traditional. We got father and son here going to compete against each other. Give them a good contest song. Give them a hand. Pretty well known in the Powwow circuit. Oh, here we go. Now we got Jingle. Jingle Just Dancers coming up.
Yeah. Wait.
Right next. The medicine dress, healing dance here. Ojibwe people is where it's come from, Shnabe. Candace Sansi right here in a green. White Eagle Club Princess. Kia Wolf here in a red. Ada Tebow. Sweetie Sheridan right here in a jingle right in front of me, blue and silver. We thank their help for coming, helping them out. Leave the hello to you. Give them a round of applause. Now we've got two grass dancers.